Kani gadega Batisi TV.
Unomi khmat ko west Shillong ba polling do khatsantri ulber po ka Ïingdorbar Thalaiñ ula penram jor ya ka jinglong ba arsap ki pulet ba ka jingbomla ka jongki pantre pendap ya ka kam khamtam bat ki kam thombor prasha ki kinthai hapawan ra ikate kamat ha ki Ïingdorbar Thalaiñ lingba ka court motion uba pol umtang bul Thalaiñ lor ka jingbomla trekam katnat kam po yeng jela khamtam bat ki pulet ula penram joru ya ka Sorkar lor ka jingpenne bat ban pensyong yo SPCT ka East Castles uba Vivek Syiem hadu posnem hapo ko ga jaka klem da Pynkynriah kam haba jubab ikate court motion menteri katnat kampo ieng ba HDR lingdo le jubab ba Sorkar kan Syiem kia bat ki ba uba pol lawan ra bat pensko ha ki Ïingdorbar par hadian kan ye uba pol la wengno ya ka court motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the total provision of rupees 22 crores 2,29,205 under supplementary demand number 6, major head 2055 police at page 13 of list of supplementary demands be reduced by rupees 100. That is the amount of the whole supplementary demand of rupees 22 crores 2,29,205 to stand reduced by rupees 100.
Motion moved. Now you may initiate discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. So when I term the Home Police Department as a failed department, it may sound like an exaggeration. I generally do not indulge in making wild, unsubstantiated, unverified allegations. But sir, here is a department that has failed the people of the state on all fronts. Despite whatever rosy picture the leader of the House and the minister in charge home may try to paint of Meghalaya, facts and figures and the chronicle of events, the upsurge of crime in the state points to a totally different direction. So we're all aware that the three important components of policing are prevention of crime, detection of crime, and prosecution of crime. These are the three major ingredients. And for any state to rate itself as successful depends entirely on how successful the Department of Home Police is on the three fronts. But we seem to have come to a point where we need to ask now this vital question: who will police the police? Who will police the police? We have come to such a point because, sir, I do not want to repeat what I have stated in the course of my submission in the special motion, but I would like to reiterate.
This debate will be confined to the explanatory
Yes,
note.
I would like to reiterate that the massive failure of the department in preventing, detecting, and prosecuting crime has made the people of the state, and especially the elected representatives of the state, and we members of the opposition, to wonder as to how long will this state of affairs be allowed to continue. So I'd like to make a few specific references. In 2016, last year, sir, there were a number of unsolved cases. A 16-year-old girl went missing from her house at Oblinka on July 24th. A A 16-year-old pregnant girl, Salman Ahmed, went missing from Laban on August 9, 2016, and her body was found from Lake on August 19. Another 19-year-old girl was brutally raped and murdered in Upper Shillong on March 17. And I would like to pinpoint as to how the police department approaches crime and crime detection. This particular girl from Upper Shillong as was reported in the media, went missing at around 7:30 p.m. of Thursday night, March 20th, 2016. And I quote from this press report, "The mother of the accused is annoyed over police taking credit for arresting her son, as the fact was that it was she who approached the police to hand over her son after he confessed his involvement in the crime to the mother." The 22-year-old accused also hinted involvement of a few others to the mother in his confession. However, after his arrest on Friday, the police circulated SMS to the media stating that within 24 hours, police arrested Vicky.
I will request the Honorable
Yes, sir.
Mover of the card motion. Please, there is an explanatory note here. Your debate should be confined to that explanatory note.
Yes, sir. I
Not
have
to
said.
debate the entire department because the major grant has already been voted by this House. So only the amount which will be voted today, your discussion and debate should be confined to that on the explanatory note given in the
Sir,
grant.
I have stated in course of my submission that the justification of spending over rupees 22 crores on a failed department. So, sir, if you want me to be specific, I'm citing a few instances of where the police have failed. And this is one instance where not only have they claimed credit for the arrest, when in fact the accused was made to surrender by his mother, but also the relatives of the victim said that the police first detained her uncle the whole night, and the uncle stated that we divided the groups to search for the girl, and I was the one who first spotted the body, which I covered with my jacket. But police, finding blood marks in my jacket, picked me up and forced me to confess to the crime. So I can't be more specific than that to point out as to where this department has failed. It has failed by making undue claim about the arrest, totally unjustified, and it has also led to the detention of this uncle simply because of the blood marks on his jacket. The other lapse, the relatives pointed out that in the process of investigation, the police personnel had not brought sniffer dogs to find out evidences related to the crime. Also, the body had injury marks, and this may be the result of the use of blunt objects, but police are yet to recover the objects used. Sir, this is just one instance of where the department has failed. And I reiterate that a major cause of this failure is this phenomenon of the department having its own blue-eyed boys. Why is it that the police has become complacent? Its morale has sunk, and the enthusiasm with which it is supposed to perform has ebbed. It is because, sir, I can't be more specific than revealing and sharing with this august house that this culture of having too many blue-eyed boys who are encouraged and have been allowed to stay on for more than a reasonable period of time is a major cause. Sir, I'd like to specifically point to the case of East Khasi Hills and Shillong City, which has witnessed a spurt of criminal activities with zero conviction. Specifically in the case of molestation, rapes, and on the killing and abduction of women and girls, where just on the killing and abduction of women and girls, statistics reveal that out of 228 registered cases, conviction is zero. Most of these cases happened in the city itself. Sir, when we refer to blue-eyed boys, I would like to know as to why this particular phenomenon is encouraged in the department. Because, sir, this is an expression in the English language. But in a society like ours, where generally we all have generally black or brown eyes, if we see a few blue-eyed boys, they become particularly noticeable. One particular officer by the name of Vivek Syiem has been in Shillong right from 2007 until today. Why? And why is it that other officers continue to be transferred within a span of 1 to 2 years? I can immediately recall officers like Herbert Ïingdorbar, who has served at Shillong, Joai, Maukarwat. Then why indulge officers for more than 10 years? Sir, if the department was successful in checking, detecting, and prosecuting criminals, yes, posting in a thickly, relatively populated district like East Khasi Hills and Shillong in particular is understandable. But when the rate of failure is so high, what is it that prevents these officers from being transferred like the rest of the officers are? So more particularly, I suspect, and I have a point in saying this, I suspect that there is this tendency of what is called I scratch your back and you scratch mine that is at work here. Therefore, without mincing words, if we seriously mean business, if we want to restore the glory of Meghalaya, the success of the police department is very vital, very important.
Please don't discuss the entire department now.
Yes, sir.
Your discussion should be based on these items only.
Exactly, sir. That is what I am doing.
If you want to debate, you can come with carte motion in demands for grants, which will be taken up later part of this session.
No,
You are discussing the style and functioning of the department.
yes, sir. That is the style of the department.
Yeah, that
is the style of functioning of the department.
That you should-
Favoritism.
No, that you should.
Sir, I understand. This is my third tenure as MLA here.
No,
sir.
no, whatever it be.
I understand what I'm doing. I know my responsibilities as an elected leader.
No, no,
I do not need to be coached.
No, no, whatever it be.
I do not need coaching.
No, that is
No.
not the question.
Please.
I know my rights as an elected representative.
Yes, you be fully specifically on the.
This is the attitude that prevents our successful investigation, a successful detection of crime is this attitude that we try to camouflage things. Why do you allow? Sir, if I do not bring this in on the floor of this house, where is the other platform? This morning I read the headlines, banner headlines, that the HNLC will resort to its operation to check rape cases. Should we therefore say that since we are not in a position to check crime, we are not in a position to debate here, do we encourage
No, debate will be allowed.
the growth of another
Debate will
alternative
be
to
allowed.
democracy?
Debate will be allowed. It is not that debate will be not allowed, but this is SD. SD will be depending on the explanatory note only.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Your explanatory note says that
It's not mine, department.
it is to meet various expenditure and benefits, including construction of barracks, etc.
Yes,
Right? Now, for whom are you constructing these barracks?
yes. Mention those things.
Right? I understand. I fully know, sir.
Yes.
This is my third term.
No,
I
that
know.
is all right.
But when you incur an expenditure of 23 crores on capital cost, on expenditure, on extending benefits to this department, we expect that department to perform.
Yes.
That is my point. But it has failed. And why has it failed? It has failed because you have this, the department has this tendency, it has developed this culture of encouraging blue-eyed boys. Sir, last week, a boy and his father were arrested from my constituency. They were involved in a drunken brawl with friends. The accused and the victim were friends. They were drinking. They had a fight. And after that fight, what happened was the police took the father and son into custody. I do not question. When I spoke to the SP, I said, it is your, well within your right, because here is a crime that you have tried to check. But, sir, the police sought 5 days custody, which they got. So my point is, when you seek 5 days custody for a case involving a physical fight between two friends in a group, why don't you apply that same yardstick with rapists? Why don't you try and use that same yardstick with killers, abductors? Why do the figures say that there has been zero conviction? Therefore, I want the Home Police Department to justify to this House that yes, this expenditure is totally justifiable because we are doing well and we expect to do better. But facts point otherwise. Facts point otherwise. Just look at this report. 2015, City Police recovered the body of a woman identified as Cynthia Syiem at Madan Riting. The body had abrasion marks on the left cheek. Police have not ruled out foul play and are awaiting the post-mortem report to shed more light into the incident. So this and several other cases remain unsolved. When police don't solve crime, is it fair, is it just that you continue to extend the tenure of these officers? To do what? In order to allow this crime rate to keep mounting? The woman who was murdered and raped recently she belonged to my area. The mother of the victim said she had hints, she had leads to the case. There has been no arrest so far. You look at this whole list of unsolved cases. So I do not want to take the time of the House. I would just like to state here that if we are keen, if we are serious, if we mean business, if we are to justify this expenditure, the department should pull up its socks. Let a policy of rational, fair posting of officers be adopted. I am afraid that if this trend is allowed to continue, our faith in the system will keep dwindling until we reach at a point when we go back to where Shillong was 10, 15 years ago, when people had to call up insurgent groups in order to mete out justice. Therefore, sir, I strongly urge that a rational policy be adopted in the matter of transfers and posting of officers. Let this culture of blue-eyed boys be immediately done away with, and then only we can see that the officers are motivated to perform, and then only we will see a reduction in the crime graph of Meghalaya, which will then justify the department to extend more facilities and spend more on capital expenditure and other benefits which will be extended to its personnel. With these few words, sir, I resume my seat.
Sir, the Honourable Member has raised a point about prevention of crime, detection of crime, and investigation. The total number of cognizable crime in the state is 3,564 in 2006, which it was 4,406 in 2015. Thus, there is a decline by 19.11% in crime in 2016. Specific cases of the missing girls and other specific cases which was raised by the Honourable Member, police has made concerted effort to unearth these crimes with the help of public, civil society, other governmental agencies, State Commission of Women, State Commission of Protection of Child Care. Police Department will look into all the cases pointed by the Honourable Member as well as other cases. Sir, the Honourable Member has further raised about the low conviction rate. Sir, Honourable Member has referred to the low conviction rate, but the police is doing its best. 91 cases of rape were registered in 2016. Police charge-sheeted 84 cases. 48 cases were registered under NDPS Act and 41 were charge-sheeted. These are just examples, Mr. Speaker, sir. Further raised about the points of low moral. Sir, the Honourable members has pointed out about this point, sir. I would to assure that the Honourable members of this August House that moral of the police force is high. This is evident from the achievement and police against militant in Karu Hills and various criminals in the state. Sir, about the point raised on some police personnel as blue-eyed boys, sir, government will review the transfer of these officers regularly. We will look into the matter of prestige of officer. Recently, the government will take decision on merit, sir. So, these are the few points raised by the honorable members, which I have specifically respond to. So, with this few clarification, I would request the honorable member mover to withdraw his cut motion.
Sir, I thank the Honourable Minister for his reply. So in the course of his reply, he had attended to this query which I had about the tenure of officers. But I would like a categorical assurance from the Minister that in view of the need for the department to not only be fair, but also to be seen as fair, there is a need to fix a definite time frame for tenure for these officers. And certainly, sir, posting an officer for 10 and more than 10 years at a stretch in a particular station, in a particular district, would make that particular officer, would make him subject to being influenced and being over familiar with the district to an extent that he develops a vested interest in it. So I want that, as I said, rationally, there has to be a fixed tenure of years within which an officer can be placed in one particular district. So may I get that assurance from the Minister.
Sir, what I have said, that the government will take this decision on merit, and what the point you have raised, the matter will be examined and will be reviewed.
The matter will be examined regarding transfer of officers.
So, before I withdraw this motion, I would like to re-emphasize here that it is very important for the department, in order to allow it to grow and perform and function properly, that there has to be this policy. And in view of the Minister's assurance that this will be reviewed, I beg leave to withdraw this cut motion.
Kani Gadega Batisi TV.